Brett, as soon as you think about Gaza, I think about the tunnels. Not only do we find out there's at least 300 miles, we got confirmation from one of the freed hostages that they brought them right down to a spider network of tunnels. They're surrounded by cement and iron, fortified heavily. What would you be thinking if they asked you to go down there?
Well, I'd be hunting Hamas in every single location possible, and that includes these tunnels where they've just built these elaborate, detailed locations where they're able to hide from a lot of these strikes. And frankly, when it comes to the tunnels, I think we should look at potentially plans to even flood them because it's very difficult to get down there. And I'm sitting here, on the ground in Israel, and it's very tense here. And until you're here, you really truly don't understand, Brian, why it's necessary for Israel to expunge the evil that is Hamas once and for all. Israelis are living in a constant state of terror daily, and the civilians have to cope with this cancer that is Hamas. They shouldn't have to live like this. There were a number of rocket attacks here near my location in Tel Aviv yesterday, and you see what's basically a normal day quickly erupt into fear and violence with civilians running for shelters. It's very close. These air alarms go off here and you have incoming fire right away, and you only have minutes to take cover. Israelis shouldn't have to live with this under this constant fear. No one should have to live with it, and the world shouldn't let them do that. And, Hamas is a terrorist group that needs to be put down once and for all. They're holding U.S. hostages. Americans have to understand this isn't just a threat to Israel. It's a threat to our own way of life. And Iran is using them as a proxy to get to us. So this is an evil that just can't exist in this world today, and we need to let the Israelis do what they have to do to crush Hamas once and for all.
They have a special unit to go into the tunnels. They call it Samur or Weasel. They specialize in underground warfare. They have a technique called purple hair, used to locate the tentacles of a tunnel. The troops drop smoke grenades into there, then watch for purple smoke to come out of any house in the area. The smoke, the soldiers say, signals that a house is connected to a tunnel network. That would be one way to find out what's below while you're above. And sadly, for the people in the hospital, they build their headquarters underneath hospitals, including Gaza's biggest hospital. Brett, that's a problem. That's a challenge.
Yeah, it's very, very difficult, challenging from an intelligence perspective. That's why I think the U.S. government needs to provide as much information as they can to the Israelis from the air, from the ground, and really give them information on, what it's going to take to target these guys, not only underground, but above as well, and do as much as we can to help the Israelis and deter Iran, deter these other organizations from entering this war. People have this concern here about this escalation between us and Iran that could lead to war. But you have to realize, Brian, we're already at war. The Iranians are already at war with us. They've been at war with us for quite some time. I'm not so sure our leadership really understands that. But at some point, we have to protect ourselves. We need to take the handcuffs off our intelligence and special operations personnel to do a lot more on the ground. Our citizens and soldiers are at risk. And so there's a lot of potential here where the U.S. can also help strategically come up with different plans to help the Israelis root out Hamas and reassure our commitment to Israel and help them support and restore this deterrence from these terrorist groups.
Hey, Brett, is there a sense in Israel, as much pain as it would cause, the best thing in their best interest would be take Hezbollah on at the same time as Hamas? Because if you leave one, you're just postponing another confrontation that could start off the way this one did in unthinkable carnage.
Well, I definitely think they're concerned about Hezbollah coming in from the north, and they're monitoring it very closely. But I do think that somebody needs to deter Hezbollah, and it should be the U.S. Like, why aren't Iran's oil fields on fire? Why are we not striking them to protect and continue this deterrence and stop Hezbollah from coming in? Why are we not striking Quds Force officers, the same Iranian officers who've been killing U.S. soldiers in Iraq and Afghanistan for years? I've had my own friends killed by Iranian weapons that have been provided to these organizations like Hezbollah, who, their number one goal is to harm and kill Westerners and kill Israelis. And so I think when Israel goes into Gaza, our leadership needs to send a message to Iran, something strong enough that says we're not messing around here. And it can't just be words. Again, Iran is already at war with us. They're using these various proxy groups to get to us. And look what happened to our soldiers in Iraq recently with these recent drone attacks. That's not some local terrorist group. That's all orchestrated by Iran and their proxies. And so we have to continue to support Israel here. We need to do something to deter Hezbollah from entering this fight. It's a big, big problem if they join in here. And in the end, we need to protect our citizens and soldiers overseas.
Well, Well, they'll regret it if they get involved. The firepower that'll come at them, they don't have no idea. Brett, thanks so much. You helped us out in Ukraine, helping us out again in Tel Aviv, in Israel. Thank you.